Howdy, gang, and sorry I don't have an intro just yet. I totally, forgot about doing an intro for the debut, the premiere of Kubrick Among Us. Um, I'm getting used to this dark mode. If I seem a little off my game, I'm trying out this dark mode on StreamYard, and it's kind of different. I like dark mode on things. Um, but I don't know if I'm going to stick with I can't talk dark mode for StreamYard or not. It almost makes it look like I'm encompassed in black. I don't know how it looks for you guys and gals. Doesn't look like anybody's in here. TC was in here earlier and he said, "Woo!" So he may watch this later on, as many of you, and that's okay. Nothing says that you got to be on here when I'm on here live. But again, this is the debut of Kubrick Among Us. It is my Stanley Kubrick retrospective, where I'm going to try to cover as many of his films as I can get my hands on. Now, Kubrick didn't do as many films as I thought he originally did. His filmography was quite short, actually. So he must have been a little bit choosy about which projects he decided that he wanted to work on. And I'm going to be talking about Fear and Desire and Killer's Kiss tonight. I was planning on doing a third one originally. For those of you that saw this promotion that was out there, you might say, well, I thought she had a third one that she was going to talk about. But I decided to cut it down to two, just not to rush myself. And that way I can cover two a week until I have completed all the Kubrick filmography or ran out of his movies to watch. But we're going to get to that here in just a second. But I'll get a little housekeeping stuff out of the way first. And, you know, I have noticed that people usually, if they're going to come in, they're going to come into these things later. And when I don't have anybody with me on these streams, I sometimes get through and get done, and we don't carry over into the 9 or 10 o'clock hour, which is fine, but it probably doesn't give other people or many people ample opportunity to get in here and hear me talk about the films live. Because for whatever reason, I guess, our lives are so busy. People like coming in, they float in at 9, 10, or after. And it doesn't seem like I'm getting as many people in that 8 o'clock time frame. So for those of you that may watch this on the replay, you can let me know your thoughts. Well, we jumped up to 2 there. You can let me know your thoughts about, would you like me to do these things later? Would you like me to start at 9 or 10 o'clock? I'm not sure that, oh, my dear husband's in here. Hello, Steve. You might be the only one in here, hon. Although Steve might not like me starting at 9 or 10 o'clock, but I want to know what people would like. What would they prefer? Which time frame would it be easier for people to come in and join in the chat, or even, people that want to join me live on the streams? 2:30 a.m. Well, that ain't happening. I don't want to go that late. Hey, X-Ray, you say, I'm here for 3 minutes because I got to go to bed for work and I've never seen these movies before. Well, let me try to get to them quickly, X-Ray, so maybe you can hear a little bit about them. Neither one of the films is long. They're a little over an hour, both of them that I'm going to be talking about tonight. But I did want to remind everybody that I am going to Horror Hound. I will be at Horror Hound weekend on Saturday. Saturday only. I'm not going to be there Friday. I'm not going to be there Sunday. But I'm going to try to get as much stuff as filmed as I can um, before we leave there. And me and Steve will be doing. Hey, Blissful. Um, X-ray, you say these are the movies Kubrick went out of his way for people to forget. Yeah, actually, the first one I'm going to talk about, I did not know this till I was doing a little research on it, and he actually wanted all the copies of it destroyed because he disliked the film so much. I know how to pick them, but me and Steve will be doing a Highway to Hell, going to Horror Hound at Horror Hound and coming back from Horror Hound weekend this Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. Oh, thank you, Blissful. I've had a lot of compliments on my hair. I may want to keep it black. My mom even likes it black. She wasn't much for the rainbow colors and all that stuff, but the black she likes. But thank you very much. I appreciate that, Blissful. Um, so let's go ahead and get started before X-Ray has to go to bed, and he hasn't seen these movies, so I will not be giving away the ending of either of these for those of you that have not seen these and might be considering watching them. So the first one, Fear and Desire, is about a little over an hour, maybe an hour and 6 minutes long. I try you say you're not as old as Steve, but just as sleepy. um, so what is Fear and Desire about? It's basically a war film, a very short war film. But it's about four soldiers. They're trapped behind enemy lines after their plane crashes. But what I really um, envision this movie being is a character study. I mean that is ultimately what I got out of the film because you actually see the breakdown of one of the soldiers where he is just totally insane by the end of the film. And that part was creepy watching the mental breakdown on these guys. However, I guess Kubrick worked with what he had, and he probably didn't have a lot of money. This was in the 50s. It was a black and white film, um, and it was his first film. And I'm sure that he didn't have a lot of money at the time. However, it was hard for me to be able to get into the idea that these guys were soldiers trapped behind enemy lines because it was just like they were in somebody's backyard in the woods, you know. And that really can't be helped. But if I'm sure there were other films that concentrated on war and what happens during war that gave a little more reality to the environment that they were supposed to be in. I think I probably would have liked it better if it could have had a little more of that realistic punch. But um, I don't really understand why Kubrick would want it destroyed. I heard an audio interview with him where he said the actors weren't really good. I thought the actors were fine in this. They weren't the best, but they definitely weren't the worst as far as acting abilities. Um, but I liked the character study aspect of it. Um, I was never sure whether I could trust these four guys though, because there's a one point in the film where they find a woman and they basically, I don't know if you would say take her hostage or what, but they're they're hoping that she can, you know, help them out because they had been building a raft and they were playing because their plane had crashed and they were trying to figure out how to get out of the place they're at and get back to their base, right? So they're building a raft, and then a plane flies over, and their automatic thoughts are, "This is the enemy." So they kind of go into hiding. They thought for like half a second that they were completely done for. So when this uh, young woman comes out of the woods, the underbrush or whatever, where she's been bathing, it looks like with some other women or swimming, one of the two. Um, they basically take her and tie her up. They take their belts and they tie her up. Hey, TJ, I appreciate you coming in to say hey. And maybe you can watch this on the replay and let me know how how well I did on this. Um, but so they basically they tie her to a tree. They tie her hands behind her back to a tree, and she must not be able to speak English because they or not very much English because they try to ask her about their raft because they had to leave their raft. They said, "Have you seen our boat?" And she's like, "Boat?" But it's not like she's got really any understanding of what they're asking her. So they end up leaving her alone with Sydney, the youngest of the soldiers. And he is the one that has the complete mental breakdown and comes really close to raping her, And I don't want to say that word too much, but it seems to me that that is where this is leading. Um, and he unties her because he doesn't want to leave her tied to the tree. He thinks they're gonna make love, you know, and he in his delusional mind thinks that she's enjoying all this. And she may be, leading him on a little bit in order to get loose. So she tries to run away and he shoots her and kills her. And it's at that point that he's just completely and totally lost it. So definitely this film is a character study. It's about the breakdown of the mind in certain uh, tense, stress-filled situations. Some people can handle it, some people can't, right? And, they say war is hell. And even though war wasn't really conceptualized that well in this film, again, I think Kubrick did what he could with the tools that he was given. So, um, the film wasn't god awful. It definitely wasn't my favorite Kubrick film, but it was nice to get a look at his first film and see how he was starting to hone his craft. And unlike Kubrick, I didn't think the acting was that bad. I would love to hear what some of you guys and gals think. If you're able to watch this, this is available on YouTube. Restored copy. It's nice and clean. Looks really really nice. I think there actually was a 4K restoration of it, which is more than likely what I watched. So, what would I give this as far as a rating? I would probably, I'm not going to give this a really low rating, but I am going to give it 3 deadites out of 5 because I thought it was middle of the road. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. And do I think it's worth a watch? Yeah. Yeah, to see, Kubrick's humble beginnings, so to speak, right? So, moving on to the next one, which is Killer's Kiss. And Killer's Kiss was a little bit better for me than Fear and Desire. Um, so you have um, this is classified. It's a 1955 film. It's about an hour and 7 minutes. Like I said, neither one of these films were long. Um, it's classified as a film noir, crime, drama, thriller. It's about a kind of a has-been boxer. He's kind of down on his luck. His name's Davy. He's left his aunt and uncle, who I'm assuming he lived with, and moved to the city. And he gets letters from his aunt and uncle, desperately wanting to hear from him and hoping that he's doing okay. But he really is, at one time, it's mentioned that he was a really great boxer, but he's kind of down on his luck. The plot of the if you look at IMDb, says he's a washed up boxer. I don't really take it that far that he's a washed up boxer, but he's kind of down on his luck. And he lives in an apartment building where he, as many movies have shown this, across the way, there is a beautiful blonde woman who um, he is infatuated with. But what she is a private dancer. She is someone that goes to just like a nightclub, and she dances with men, lonely men, for money. That's what she does. And so she gets involved with this guy, Vinny, who's a lot older than her. He's sort of a gangster like guy. But he wants to, he's like, I'll take you away from all this and you won't have to want for anything. But she's not in love with Vinny. She don't even really like Vinny. She's just kind of, using him. And then he really upsets her and she doesn't want anything to do with him. She says he's old and he smells bad, and she just doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. And she ends up falling for the boxer, Davy, and they wind up on the run from Vinny and his goons because, like I said, Vinny's pretty much a gangster. He's the type of guy that if you don't pay him money you owe him, he'll send somebody out to break your legs or bust your kneecaps or even worse, kill you. So he sets his eyes on Davy and wants to have Davy killed because Davy's took away his woman. So Davy sets up this thing where he doesn't really want to do it, but he doesn't want to get killed either. So he sets up his manager to be killed. And when Vinny finds out that his goons didn't kill Davy, he goes and has Gloria. This is the femme fatale in the film. Has her kidnapped, and action ensues. And like I said, I don't want to give away the ending because you might want to watch this. You might want to take a look at this. This I actually did not find on YouTube. I found it on Vimeo. If you do a video search for Killer's Kiss on Google, you should be able to find it on Vimeo and be able to watch it that way in case you're interested in that. And if TJ's still in here, I know he's going to laugh at me because at this late date, I still don't have a half. But I'm going to give Killer's Kiss a 3.5. So just visualize a half there, folks. One of these days, I will have a half. So um, this one was a little bit had a little more meat on its bones, I guess I could say. And I liked it slightly better than Fear and Desire. So that is really it from me. If nobody has any questions about these films or questions about the upcoming Horror Hound that I could answer, I'll give y'all about a minute or two. But I'm probably not going to stay on here much longer because then I'd start rambling and nobody wants that. But I will tell you that next Thursday, I'm planning on covering Kubrick's The Killing from 1956 and Paths of Glory from 1957. I promise you, we're going to get into, stuff that more people know. 2001: A Space Odyssey, Doctor Strangelove, Clockwork Orange, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, stuff like that. We are going to get to that stuff, but I want to cover these beginning films first, of course, to give an overall decent retrospective on Stanley Kubrick's films. So I guess I'm going to call it a night. But I want to thank everybody that showed up for the live, and for anybody that watches this on the replay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Be sure to visit the channel. I'm hoping to put more stuff up all the time. I know that last week I wasn't that active, and I want to apologize for that. But I was just giving myself a little break there. Yes, I echo what Blissful says. She says, "Have a beautiful night, everyone." But also be sure to visit deaditesondeck.com, my horror shop. I'm hoping to put up more t-shirt designs soon. So be sure to check that out and see what I've got on the shop. I've got a few new designs on there right now, so be sure to check all of that out. And I'm off like a dirty shirt. But before I get off here for the night, I want to remind everybody, as I always do, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Thursday night, folks. I am off tomorrow. I'm planning on spending it watching Friday the 13th movies. And stay tuned for Terror Time Tea tomorrow at some point. It'll be a pre-recorded one. I'm planning on talking about Nightmare on Elm Street and Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. So stay tuned for all of that. And I'm out of here, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.